I've played a lot of good game demos over the past week. Sulfur reminded me the fun of cave exploration, the weird shit you can run into there. Keep Driving has shown me that I've been craving a game that captures the feeling of being on the open road rather than being in an open world. Hell, Usual June is reminding me that I need to get back into playing more third-person action games. But this one, Set Yourself on Fire. This hour-and-a-half long visual novel that acts like an exercise in dissecting stagnation, love, and death is the one that I must implore you to play. So long as these trigger warnings aren't a concern, of course. Hi, my name is Exalclaw if you're new here. Hi, if you're not new here, welcome back. At its core, Set Yourself on Fire is a visual novel. A linear one, propelled by you, but not giving you any choice. It's much more interested in having you be an active observer of the story it is telling. A story of two young women, Michelle and Alex, falling in love as they aimlessly pass their days in a town that they are determined has stagnated and is on a excruciatingly long walk to death. I won't be spoiling too much of the story here because I really want you guys to play this yourself, because so much of the magic is just experiencing how the story is told. Like, the how is the big thing here. But just so you understand the general synopsis, what this story of these two women falling in love partially is a very raw and almost scathing portrayal of boredom with life and anger at its apathy towards your place in society. It is about stagnation, what can get you out of it, and what will keep you in it. Now, above all else, I am recommending it to you because I love the way the storytelling is executed here. The framing throughout this entire visual novel is excellent. Having the camera move around so much in these crafted spaces, not being afraid to play with different angles, high, low, up close, two shots, it adds so much sense of depth to the entire experience. Even if you're not controlling a character around a space with the usual interacting and jumping and all the usual things you expect from a video game and even visual novels, never once does this space feel constrained or even really claustrophobic unless it wants it to. There is a great sense of depth of the stillness being portrayed here. And I keep saying stagnation and stillness because that is the name of the game here. Not literally, but you know what I mean. See, as a part of dissecting this theme of stillness, the game very intentionally makes you feel it too. One of my favorite things about it is that you have to press the A button to continue getting, but press the A or click whatever button to keep things moving you choose to hit. I played this with the controller, funnily enough. But sometimes, rather than just having text constantly show, the game will just stop. Not literally, but it won't have any text, no text boxes, no indication of a button prompt. Just let you sit in the moment. And its choices of when it stops and just kind of lets you sit in those moments are wonderful. The times when it chooses to do it feel powerful and display a really great understanding of the weight of everyday life. Through just this little design choice, it does a really good thing that visual novels have always been good at doing, in that they let you kind of sit with whatever's happening, and they do so by function, since visual novels literally can't continue unless you press the button to continue the text box dialogue. Much like the novel part of the phrase visual novel, it turns you into engaged readers, and what you will read is haunting. The writing in this thing is beautiful. It is poetic, it is harsh, it is real, it's relatable. It's doing a lot in the short amount of time that you're playing the demo for. And not just is the writing itself good, but even the placements of the words fit so naturally with the scene. The understanding of visual composition shown throughout this entire thing really helps you feel the intention of all the decisions being made in this game, and also make sure that any experience or any feelings you're having in a moment just gets elevated, which is probably helped in no short way by the melancholic music that is constantly backdropping all of the scenes that you are privy to seeing. More than anything, the how is what stands out about this game demo, but the writing itself is great, and the characters actually feel like fully fleshed out people in just a short runtime too, and I'm excited to learn more about them and see how their worldviews change when a full release of this comes out. Michelle, the character that you start off following, seems to have a pretty nihilistic view of the world at the beginning of things. She's born in a place that she's convinced herself is a place where fun, ideas, and general change go to die. From moment one, it's clear that she wants more for herself, more out of her life, and she wants it while she's still alive, with the game hinting at a bit of a troubled background with their family. And as you're following this worldview of a woman who is ultimately at an aimless part of her life, is when Alex comes in to interrupt things. Alex, someone who it turns out she goes to school with but just never really noticed, also wants more things out of life, but on the surface has a more empathetic view of the world, seems to be much more willing to think longer and dissect the longevity of things just outside of the physical space. There's a wonderful conversation that the two of them have at a cafe that Michelle works at, where they really start talking about how they feel about corpses, how they feel about souls, how they feel about what it means to exist past your natural lifespan. And it does a lot to show the thinking that these characters go about in their everyday life. But don't worry, the game doesn't make you need to guess about how they're feeling. It'll steep you multiple times, dunking you into the headspace of these women. The differences in the scenes of when you are following Michelle versus following Alex do so much to build upon their character traits that you're already seeing through their dialogue with each other. When you start following Alex a bit more towards like the midpoint / ending of the demo, there is a brutal contrast between some of the more optimistic things that she said to Michelle versus her own spiral into boredom, of apathy, of being frankly straight up dissociated from her everyday life at this point, the routine of it already gnawing at her. And it's through her where I feel like the extremes of boredom are really being explored in this part, where stagnation feels like death. It's almost hypnotic in its nothingness. It is unyielding in its disinterest of giving your life value. There's this entire dream sequence that she has with a deathly like figure that on its own could be an own video, honestly speaking, if anyone wanted to. But it is really through her and through how they change each other that you start really seeing what the title of the game is about. It's kind of an exploration of the world's quiet as fire, the burning of one's soul. And what I'm really interested in seeing in a full release is if it's talking about burning in a way where you come out new and refreshed and have a new worldview, because even their worldviews through this game get changed by their questioning of each other's worldviews, by their investigation of each other's questions. Or if the spiral bottoms out. Well, the game demo does end on a lighter note, and you can start seeing how this budding romance, which also has some very cute, like actual romance moments throughout it that I like, you start to see how the view change is already happening, but it's not such a huge change. And with the way that they showed both of their feelings towards boredom, again, especially with Alex and the dissociation that's displayed there, it's not like a one trick, oh my god, everything's better immediately towards the end. Like, you can tell that, I'm hoping at least, the visual novel is going to be just more of this investigation into how these women are changing, how they're dealing with this dissociation, with this discontent with life, with wanting more out of it and not knowing if it'll ever come to them. The role that love plays in that, the role that the little things about life play in that. There's a really nice section about rain, the sound of rain, and how Michelle, in a weird way, shows her resilience towards her boredom just through her appreciation of rain. There's a lot that's going on in this game, and that's why I was so excited to talk about it on a whim. I know this kind of game isn't for everyone. Even though visual novels have a long history and their cultural impact on gaming and the world is undeniable, ultimately, when you see what's being pushed out there, when most people are playing, it ends up feeling like a niche field. And even though the writing on this thing really is great, and one of my favorite parts of it, like the poetic writing specifically, but the story is familiar. So if you're not really in the mood for that kind of love story, or the woes of aimlessness that so many people experience in their early 20s, or just life in general, come back to this. I get that. I just really love the way that this was told. I really love the execution on this thing. So the fact that it was already a solid story, or the beginnings of a solid story, because again, this is just a demo. I'm very excited to see how it builds upon itself, how it continues to get weirder, because there's some weird shit in this too. How it continues to get what emotions it wants out of you through its framing, through its music, through the button prompt, through how it decides to progress you through its button stuff, because there's some small little things that it does with how it makes you progress through a thing that's fun. You're always just going to be pressing one button to get more dialogue, but like by playing with that expectation of just pressing one button, you start seeing the scene in front of you transform, the words transform and interact in different ways as the game goes on. There's a lot here to be excited about, is basically what I'm saying. So even though I'm not even necessarily calling this the best game demo that I played from the Steam Next Fest over the past week, but it is the one I'm most interested in seeing other people play. I mean, everything else too that you like and see, obviously, but like this is the one I felt like giving special attention to. I was almost Keep Driving, because Keep Driving is awesome for another reason, and if y'all are interested in hearing something more about the open road RPG, I can make another video for that too if there's a demand, but this is the one I'm going to share with you right now. Hope you check this out yourself. If you do, please tell me how you liked it, tell me what you got out of it, tell me if you didn't like it for whatever reason, just hop into the comments. you liked what I said here, consider giving it a like. Consider subscribing if you want more stuff like this. Regardless, I appreciate you watching. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones. Ciao.